Well, hello there. Welcome to Real WW Talk. I'm Erin.
I'm Candice.
And I'm Rikki.
Candice, we haven't done the you tell us who's going around in the circle to talk about who goes first. So I'm going to turn it over to you to get the ball rolling today.
I was so worried you were going to say that. I was like, oh my gosh, so last week who said what? But you know what? I feel like we should just start with me since you put it on me. And
I
then
love it.
that way I'll know where we started.
Yes, girl. Go for it.
I lost 3.8 this week. So that was pretty awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I was super happy. Super happy. I was making choices that I was proud of and focusing on staying within the points. And I always laugh and say I did the program the way that it was written, and then it worked.
Imagine that.
Wow.
I pay the money every month to have this epiphany every few months that it actually does what it's supposed to do. So I'm very happy. And I told you all last week that I was going to go on a walk with my friend. And I did that. I did not tell her no. I sent you guys a picture and we got out and we did not just 30 minutes, we did an hour and a half.
Oh my gosh.
Which was great. And my little calf muscle that had just healed was like, oh, you're really going for it this time. But it was great. I really was happy to get out.
Yay. What did food look like for you this week?
You said food?
Mm-hmm.
I cooked a lot at home. My husband, well, I didn't cook a lot. My husband cooked a lot at home and I ate a lot of home cooked foods that he made. That's what it looked like.
David.
So David's the winner. Shout out to David because he made
bravo a lot to him.
If he were here, he'd go, thank you. He's a lot of he loves to cook and he's a better cook than I am. And I say, go ahead and do that. Like I want to support you in your dreams.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I don't think I said that, but we're gonna roll with that. Awesome. But that was my week. I was very, very happy with it. And I did focus on fruits and veggies as well. I did have a lot of those in. I'm starting to get smoothies in. It's getting ready to get warm out. I love a good smoothie in the morning. So
what are you putting in your smoothie?
You know what I did today? I did mixed berries, half a cup of pineapple, a sliced pineapple, unsweetened almond milk, and some spinach. I know that sounds really very specific, but it worked.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Wonderful. And my son he drank most of it. And I was like, this is going to be the problem now because he has the same palate that I do. So.
But that's a great way to get the extra veggies in. So you got your +1 for veggies, right? Or maybe Isaiah got your +1 for veggies.
I made sure I had enough of the 1 cup of spinach that was in there for it to count towards me.
Good. That's awesome.
So Erin, how was your week? You're next.
Great. Is another week. Like I said, I've been working on maintenance right now just because my life is so insane with work. And I think trying to add on focusing on a weight loss component, I think would leave me really frustrated right now. So I'm choosing to maintain. And that's what I did. I gave myself a 2-pound buffer. So I know after I travel, my weight drops because I'm definitely not eating as much because I'm frankly scared to eat, that I'm going to get poisoned while I'm away. So the weight that I had lost last week, I gained. That doesn't mean like I gained weight. I mean, I followed the program and did the program. It was just, equaling out. So, so I maintained within that 2 pounds. So I'm pretending that I'm Lifetime right now. So it's good. I promised last week that I would schedule time for walks within the day. And so I got my walks within the day, just like those little 5-minute buffers just to kind of stand up and move from the desk. I got my walks in. I walked over the weekend. It was gorgeous here. We had like 70, almost 80-degree weather, which is so weird for March. And now tomorrow's going to be, I think, 55 degrees. So yeah, the walking and the water have been my big habits that I've been focusing on and making sure to track. I've got my eggs in the morning. I've got my avocado. I have been relying on the basic turkey burger in the app. It's a great recipe. So I've been having, it's a 0 for me. It's 0 point because turkey is the fat-free turkey. It's been 0 for me. So yeah, those have been like my staples for the past week and keeping me maintaining. So
Okay.
When you're talking about the turkey burger, I'm just wanting to understand. You said that it's a recipe that's in the app?
It's a recipe in
Mm.
the WW app. It's called Basic Turkey Burger.
That's what it's
And
called. Okay.
yeah, it's called the Basic Turkey Burger. It's WW's recipe, and it's got it's a pound of the 99% fat-free ground beef or ground turkey, an
Mhm.
egg, and there's some garlic and some chopped red onion, and then it has some spices, and I alter the spices depending on what I have on hand, but it's super simple, and I bake them, and so I eat them throughout the week. Easy peasy. And you know how I feel about burgers too. Like, I love
Mhm.
a hamburger, and what I've said before, this is not a diet for me. This is how I plan to eat from now on moving forward. So even on WW, it cannot feel like diet food to me,
Mhm.
and I love burgers, and this doesn't feel like a diet burger to me at all.
Okay.
It's delicious.
That's
Wonderful.
awesome. I'll
Wonderful.
have to try
Yeah.
that.
What about you,
Okay.
Rikki?
Well, I had a good week. I felt, like I was sticking to the plan, kind of like you mentioned, Candice. It's like, wow, this thing kind of works when I stick to it. Imagine that. Nobody ever told me that. But I was down 2 pounds this week. I think one of the things that really helped too was less mindless snacking. Like, so I always bring a good amount of snacks to work, but I share a room with 4 other people, and we also go to the staff lounge together for lunch. Sometimes there's things on the table there. So I felt like I was more mindful of choices, not going to the vending machine on a random impulse. Um, Things like that I think really helped, and that set me up for better choices, I think, in the evening when I got home and had dinner. So that felt really good to get back on track with that.
That's awesome.
And I
Yeah.
think the fact that you're able to kind of look at your day because and know that it's the mindless snacking throughout the day that was getting you, because
Mhm.
sometimes it's hard to identify exactly what it is that you want to switch, but that can be, and little things can add up to a lot of points,
They
like
can. And I
surprisingly throughout the day.
Yeah, and I think sometimes once I realize that throughout the day, I'm like, wow. Internally, I think I'm almost saying, well, I've already blown it. I've had, X amount of things that might be 10 plus points. I think I have less um, desire to stay within the points the rest of the day because I already know that I'm over. And I think, sometimes that's an attitude thing. Like, I could change the script to say, I can earn these points back with activity and with, veggies in the evening. But, if you're not in the mood for that, or if you're not feeling as disciplined, it might be harder to have that script versus the more negative one.
Mhm. And why put yourself in the hole so that you have to dig yourself out
Right.
with
Mhm.
it? It's like, kinda give
Mhm.
yourself a hand up. Rikki, you
Mhm.
just said something, that I wanna latch on to. You talked about having the self-discipline,
Mhm.
and just thinking, it sounds like for all 3 of us, this week was especially about self-discipline, about having the discipline to stick to the program and to do the
Mhm.
program that we are paying to do. Right?
Yes.
Money.
Paying.
Yes.
Cash money.
Every month.
And,
Yes.
I was even thinking too, when W made the program switch, we all said, "Okay, for 2 weeks, we're hot," right? We're hot on it, and we did it, and we did the program for 2 weeks. And all 3 of us were successful in the program because we made this
Mm.
commitment. We put the self-discipline in to do it, but then the self-discipline starts to wane.
Mhm.
So, what does you guys, I would say you quote unquote had a more successful week than me in the sense that you lost weight. I would say my week was still successful because I hit the goal that I was aiming for.
Absolutely.
What does next week look like? Is this just a one-off?
Well, so I've been thinking about this a lot this week too, Erin, because we're in a season that, some of us may celebrate, some may not, but in Lent. And Lent can be about, it's a lot of things, but part of it is, giving up something. And for me, I haven't always celebrated Lent, but it's always been related to giving up a food. Some people do give up social media or television or whatever it is. But it's always, it seems like for a lot of people, it's sweets, it's coffee, it's soda, whatever, something that's challenging to give up. So I chose, to give something up, not a huge category, but just a small amount of one type of food. And I think that also benefits me in a way because it's something that I'm very triggered by. So I think why is it easier during that season? Is it just because I know that it's coming to an end? And I think about it in that aspect too, because I want to continue that behavior because it's not healthy for me to eat a bunch of junk. But why, is it easy to do that when I know it's just a short-term goal?
Mhm. Well, I was gonna say, it feels to me like because it's a bite-sized goal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think 100% the same for me. When you said that there's an end date or there's an end, I can focus on that. That when I used to make a goal for like a vacation or something that was coming up, I knew that if I could just get to that thing, then
Mm-hmm.
it was doable. But I also have to look at what I was doing during that time. I was being very strict. Like when I'm thinking
Mm-hmm.
about the time that I was trying to lose weight for a vacation. I was being very, very strict with how I was eating and what I was doing because I wanted to hit a certain number and I was very focused on it. But the things that I was doing it wasn't really sustainable habits. It was something that was hard to do. And I was ready to give up as soon as I could. And that's the unfortunate piece is that I think when we're trying to build a lifestyle, we're trying to get away from doing things that are not sustainable, like giving up food groups or, over
Mhm.
exercising or whatever it is that we tend to do or to hit goals by certain time periods. And Erin, when you
Mm-hmm.
talked about us doing the first 2 weeks, I knew I had made a commitment to you guys that we were going to try the program and we were going to give it a fair shot and we were going to do this. I didn't feel
Mm-hmm.
deprived. I didn't feel like I was doing anything that was extreme. It's just,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know why I felt like I had to stop after
Mm-hmm.
this. It's just like I honored my commitment and now I'm finished. Now let me go back to
Mhm.
the bag of chips. I don't know why.
Mhm. 'Cause I
Maybe
think
in a way it did seem unsustainable. Like if you, in a way, were depriving yourself from some of the things that you maybe could have had, but you said no to during those 2 weeks. I don't know.
Mhm.
Even though no feels good, like I told you, I think it
Mhm.
still is the challenge of not equating saying no to myself as something that I want to get away from. Do you
Mm.
know what I mean? Because when I'm out of control or I'm not within the confines of the program, I one of the things that I do value is that there's no limits to what I can eat. And
Mhm.
we've already talked about the fact that there's no plan out there in the world where that's going to allow you to eat copious amounts of food, just ridiculous amounts. You can have a Starbucks drink, but you can't have four and
Mhm.
Mhm.
then sustainably do the program. So having to
Mhm.
mourn that is what, I give up when I am on plan and doing it the right way.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Well, and I think, Candice, you touched on it. It's restriction, and that's not sustainable. The restriction isn't sustainable for anything.
Mhm.
And I guess my thought this time through with the program is that I'm not trying to restrict myself, and I'm not doing a diet. This is life for me. What do I want this to look like when I'm 50? Right? Which is 10
Mhm.
years down the line for me. I don't wanna be sitting here and, battling over a cupcake or a brownie, by the time I get there, right? Like, that just feels like I'm wasting so much of my life thinking about the wrong things. And for me, it's right now, it's about building the discipline and the habits, which are hard, but choose your
Mhm.
hard, right? It's hard right now, but I know that I'm building a better version of Erin for 10 years down the line. And
Mhm.
50-year-old Erin is going to look back on 40-year-old Erin and say, "Thank you, 40-year-old Erin, for choosing that hard right now because it's actually
Mhm.
easier. We have more freedom today." That's my
Mhm.
hope. That's my goal. 40-year-old Erin right now can look back at 30-year-old Erin and say, "Thank you, 30-year-old Erin, for joining
Mhm.
WW and sticking with it because we're still 40 pounds down from where we were before. And my life is so much better without it. So I feel like this is like a next phase of the journey for me of not needing, it's not that I don't need WW in the future. I'm always going to use the tools and the resources. But man, it would be really awesome just to get to that place of health. That's really what I want. I want health and I want the habits to go with it.
Mhm.
You don't want it to ever to feel like it has to be something you have to stop
Yeah.
when life gets crazy. And I was thinking about what you shared in your opening, Erin, when we asked you how your week was. And you said, you know, there was a lot going on and that you're focused on maintenance right now, or really maintaining your weight. My question, or maybe something that's just been in my mind, is how does maintenance or maintaining Erin differ from weight loss Erin in terms of the habits and the things that you do? Do you find that the things that are required for you to be in weight loss mode are too much? Because that's
Great question. You know what? I think it's the mental space. I think when I get into weight loss Erin mode is hyper focused on every single thing that I'm eating. Like I'm weighing, I'm measuring, like I'm super dedicated and super focused. And not that I wouldn't be in maintenance mode. I am in maintenance mode. I am weighing things, but I feel like I've given my brain permission to relax in this mode, if that makes sense. And then there are, I would say that there are treats that I'm consuming that I'm not counting. And I guess I know the level of treats that I can have without counting that keep me in maintenance. But if I'm in weight loss mode, it actually tends to move towards, I would say, restriction, which I shouldn't feel restricted on the WW plan, right? I think I'm actually more focused on the fruits. I'm more focused on the vegetables, where here I'm not quite as focused of having a vegetable at every meal, but I'm still tracking and I'm still within my points.
yeah,
Does that make sense?
It does. But I think that the reason I picked on that is because I think that kind of goes in hand with what the question is that we're trying to answer. Because in the 2 weeks that we were demoing the plan, or what Rikki and I did in the past week, they gave us a really great weight loss, may have been being very laser focused on certain aspects and saying, I'm going to make sure I put my points in the tracker. I'm going to measure that cupcake, or I'm going to actually accurately count it, and I'm not going to have these different things. But there's still something that makes us feel like at certain times that we need to get away from that.
Yeah.
Or
And
sometimes
why?
I think, yeah. And I think there are times too when we do end up being in this process for a while where we have a level of confidence where we think that we can, forgo weighing and measuring and, portioning things out, and we get comfortable, and, some of that discipline goes away and we don't even recall what that was like before when we were disciplined. And, it can lead to gaining weight or, maybe unintentionally maintaining.
I think I wanted to get away from the frustration thinking of like last year of having a really good week, quote unquote, a good week, meaning I lost weight. And then
Mhm.
the next week, I don't do the plan and I'm up and I'm like, oh, why am I up? And then the next week, okay, I'm back on plan and
Mm.
right. And I'm tracking and I drop the same pounds again. And
Mhm.
then the next week, I'm back up because I'm like, to me, that just feels so undisciplined. It feels so rocky. Like I'm in a boat that is just not steady. And I'm the one controlling the boat. The waves aren't controlling the boat. I'm the one controlling it. And
Mhm.
I needed to steady the boat. And the best way for me to steady the boat is to just track the plan. And when I started actually tracking, it made me aware of all of the extra things, right? Like the bite, lick, taste thing, or, oh, I'm going to have this snack here. It made me so much more aware of the points that I was giving to snacking as opposed to what I was doing for meals. And so even right now in a space where I'm maintaining and I'm not losing weight, mentally I feel so much better because I'm not having these extreme highs, like the highs and the lows. That's really because I always talk about I want peace in my brain. I just want peace in my brain. And even if I'm not losing, I've got peace in my brain right now. And I need that peace in this part of the journey to counteract all of my work crazy.
But what was it that that you felt, and that all of us feel, that when we have that week afterwards? I want to focus on that a little bit. The week after the weight loss for me and Rikki, the next week, where the scale did go up and you were on that roller coaster, Erin. What was the habit that you relaxed that you may have felt caused the weight gain the next week? Like that you felt maybe was so difficult to sustain?
It was the habit of the snacks and the treats.
Okay.
It was having to change my thought process around the snacks and the treats, and it was having to let them go. That every day didn't deserve a treat. And having to make peace with that, and that I still got treats, and I'm still having treats, but it's the awareness of how many treats that I was having, and by tracking it, how many points, because I would think, so here's a case in point on the ground here, because I counted it in for today. I've got my Justin's dark chocolate peanut butter cup. These are delicious.
They're so good.
They're so good. This is 11 points for me.
Okay.
But I would have this, and then I would have chips on top of it. I would have, I don't know, some 2 spoonfuls of like marshmallow fluff. I'd have, right? Like I go into snack mode where I just kind of like grab things throughout the day, as opposed to practicing what I would preach to you guys and say, put that in your tracker and plan for it. So I put it in my tracker. Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to ask you, Erin, like, because are there times too where you feel like, and I've done this too, it's like, I'm just bored. There's something else behind this. I know you've talked about it all the time, Erin, with, if food is not the problem, or if hunger is not the problem, food is not the solution. Like, so why am I going for marshmallow fluff? Like, that's not making me, if I'm hungry, it's not filling me up or satisfying that need. So like, I think sometimes an analysis of why I'm going for what it is I'm going for is occurring. Like what's behind that?
That's the hard work that I've been doing over the past couple months. Again, like I'm preaching to you guys, if hunger isn't the problem, food isn't the solution, but I'm over in the cabinet, like that's not okay. You've heard me talk like too, like being a woman of my word. I had not been a woman of my word. And that's something like I really wanted to focus on and make sure that what I'm saying here and what I'm saying to you guys, like I'm actually doing. So I'm not in the cabinet anymore, just randomly eating things. Because when I started to have to be accountable for it, I was being accountable, right? Because I'm feeling it in my weight every week and I'm feeling it mentally. But I just wasn't being accountable to my tracker for it. So I started being accountable to my tracker for it. And there's just something about when you see it on paper, when you see it written down, it's like, man, I can't keep doing this. I can't keep doing this. And for me, it just became a thing where it's not worth it. And it's not getting me to where I want to be. And again, I don't like relying on food as emotional support. That for me feels like something's broken inside of me, that I want to fix.
Yeah.
And I can just be honest that for me, I really still resent, and I think that that's why stringing along weeks in a row of sustainable of habits that keep me losing weight and keep me on the path is difficult. It's difficult for me because I don't like what staying in compliance with the plan looks like for me.
Yeah.
because
Mhm.
there's only certain things that I am able to realistically fit in to a day.
Mhm.
That's
Okay.
just there's if I'm going to do the program the way that it was created, one of the things that they love to say, that WW loves to say, and it's true, is you can have whatever you want, but you can't have everything in the same day.
Right.
Mm.
I mean, you can have it, maybe you can spread it out throughout the week, but you can't have an indulgent breakfast and an indulgent lunch and an indulgent dinner and stay within the points that they give you. And if you're not staying within the points that they give you, then you're not doing the plan. And that's just being
Mhm.
honest. You have to be able to say that. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand that they give you a hole to dig out of and you can get an exercise and all of that and you can eat your vegetable points, but every
Mhm.
single day going over the points isn't doing the plan. And so I resent that.
Well, and that's where the willpower comes in. I mean, I experience the same frustration, Candice. Because I have, cashews in the house. I have, a cheese stick and other things. And I'll throw a bunch of those things into my lunch bag. It's like I know I need healthy snacks. So it's like I have all of these healthy snacks, but if I eat all of them and I have this protein bar that I like, it's 5 points. But all of those together added up in addition to my lunch is gonna take me over, even though I'm making technically good choices, but I have to say no at some point, or I have to stop putting all
Mhm.
of the snacks in my bag, even though sometimes one of those snacks is a way to avoid having something from the vending machine. Like it's a tough balance because you're helping yourself in some way, but you're also realizing that you may put yourself in the negative even if it's a healthy snack.
That's where I realized too, like for me, like I can have being gluten intolerant and dairy intolerant, allergic to nuts, right? Like there's only so many foods that I can eat. And when I do get some of the packaged foods, like man, I just want to eat all of them.
Mhm.
And I realized like so if you look at it in my brain is like, oh well, this is all healthy food. So I should
Mm,
be good. But again, when I look at it on paper, I'm not even close to being good. This is
mhm.
why I'm gaining weight. We just had somebody post in our Facebook group, who went, "Did you see this?" Like, they
The
said their weight
milk?
had yes, their weight had stalled, and they
Yes.
couldn't figure out why. Well, she had been tracking her almond milk. It was, chocolate almond milk, and she had
Mhm.
been tracking it as unsweetened almond milk, which is 2 points. But
Mhm.
she wasn't having that, she was having chocolate almond milk, which is like 12 points a
Yeah.
cup. It's so far down the other extreme, right? But
Mhm.
again, that's where, like, the tracking part becomes super illuminating because this is a quote unquote "healthy" thing, right? Like, in our brain, we're going,
Mhm.
"This is healthy, this is good." But once it hits the tracker and that sugar is involved, it's a whole different ball game. But
And it's a
Rikki,
difference of one word on the box.
right. I relate to what you're saying because that in my head, I'm like, I'm eating healthy and I'm doing healthy things.
Mhm.
But it wasn't again until I'm tracking all of it that I'm going, I'm not, and I need to reformulate some
Mhm.
things. So it became, okay, instead of doing, pick your treat, pick your
Mhm.
thing, and pair it with the fruit. I've got the vegetable snack, I have the fruit snack, and I have maybe a sweet snack, and I have a protein snack, and that
Mhm.
all gets tracked in. And I know that if I put all of the options in the bag, I will eat all of the options
Mhm.
because my self-discipline and my boundaries with myself stink.
Mhm.
I have to give myself a win. I have to give myself a leg up. And if that means
Mhm.
not putting it in there because I can't trust myself,
Mhm.
and that sucks that's the other thing is like it sucks to say that I can't trust myself
But
with this.
you know what you're doing? You just mentioned helping future Erin, and that 20-year-old Erin was thankful. Or Erin at lunchtime is going to be grateful to Erin at breakfast who said, you know what? You're not going to be able to handle this. I'm taking this snack out of the lunch bag. And I think I have to do that for myself too. Take
It's the
one snack out.
it's the thing we all hate, and it's saying no to ourselves.
Mhm.
But I think it's because we in the moment aren't able to focus on the wins that have nothing to do with the food that we're experiencing. So, like for me personally, I think I told you weight loss and staying within the boundaries that the program provides helps my blood pressure. My blood
Right.
pressure
Mhm.
stays stable. I can get on a plane and not feel uncomfortable. Like I might be getting on a plane in July. I'm thinking about how my habits right now are going to affect that flight in a
Yes.
few months. And
Mhm.
so those are the things that are your anchors that you're hopeful will help you when you do have to make those tough decisions and say, I can't trust myself, but it's worth it for me to know that and to honor that
Mhm.
because the wins are there. I'm working on getting my stamina back. My stamina kind of left with the pregnancy and my little injury. I want that win. And me doing the things that make feel uncomfortable, or really, it's not even that it feels uncomfortable. It just sucks. Like
Mhm.
sometimes it just makes me upset that I
Mhm.
have to choose a snack and act like
Mhm.
it's great that I only get one
Mhm.
and smile and tell people how it's just so awesome that I can have this 0 point apple and my one
Mhm.
Oreo, and I'm super full about it. And I'm not. I want the whole pack, but I
Mhm.
Mhm.
also want to fit in on the plane and
Yep.
my for
Mhm.
my seatbelt to fit. So which one
Mhm.
wins?
Yep.
You know?
You know what? I
Yep.
know I don't wanna beat a dead horse, but I really truly feel that sometimes those snacks are enough, but I just am not hydrated, and I don't know what like, I have Plant Nanny, I have, all the I bring an extra thing of water to work, but I think sometimes it's not that I don't have enough snacks or I'm depriving myself in the area of snacks, like, I have a couple pieces of fruit, I have like, let's say I just bring a bar instead of the cashews and the cheese stick and the bar in addition to my lunch. I could be satisfied with that, but I think sometimes I'm just not I haven't filled myself with enough water to be able to be truly hydrated, to be able to have those snacks and really feel like I'm satisfied.
And wonder, Ricky, if you ever kind of like when you give yourself a day where you truly do the plan, we're like WW works, haha. If you actually were to give yourself a day or a few days where you focused on hydration and you
Mhm.
felt what it felt like, other than having to go to the bathroom all the time to truly feel hydrated, the other
Uh-huh.
benefits, it may
Mhm.
be the catalyst that gets you to say, this is not just a thought. I
Mhm.
felt what it feels like to be hydrated. And I've seen
Mhm.
those effects. 'Cause when you haven't seen it yet or haven't seen it on a
Mhm.
consistent basis, it's hard to continue. You know what people say, but you have to feel
Mhm.
it,
I agree.
and give yourself that chance. Speaking to
Mhm.
myself too, I just like to say that my plant survived before all of yours. It sounds like your plants died. Now there's some of
No,
them
my
are
plant did not die, but
I didn't
it's
get it.
sad.
I
She's
she's
just
didn't do
doing
very
mine.
sad.
okay. Okay. But I'm very there's a person in our group, I have to find her post, but she's on her 4th plant in Plant
I love
Nanny,
it.
and they're just smiling and thriving, and she has, like, a little bookshelf for them, and I'm like, "Look at that. Little Candice all by herself. Like, you're gonna feed me today, right? You're gonna water me today, right?" So,
I love it. It makes me so happy when I see it.
she has
Uh,
4. I was like, "Wow." Okay, sorry.
Candice, I know we need to wrap up, but you touched on something that I think is really important, and that is what are we doing it for? And to me, that goes back to the quote unquote old WW lesson of keep your why close by.
Mhm.
Why are we doing it? And that our why can change from when we started. I mean, I think it could even be fair that someone's like 3 months into the program and their why changes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, I think there's I think there's room for, room for change there on it.
100%. And I brought up the plane because I promise you that has been recently my new why.
Mhm.
It was, the things that other people would be proud of. Oh, you're doing it for your son and for yourself. I'm like, now it's totally, I don't like planes. I feel confined. I don't want to be on the plane where it's going to be hot at this weight and have to worry about a seatbelt and
Mhm.
running after a 2-year-old. Oh no. I need to
Mhm.
feel comfortable on that plane in the middle of July where it's going to be 100 degrees,
Mhm.
So what I'm doing now, I don't want to look at that Candice to look at this Candice now and say, why did you not just do the plan?
Mhm.
You could have been down so much, not even about being down. You would have been more comfortable in your body.
Mhm. Because you'll
Mhm.
be sitting on the plane in July going, I'm so glad that I've dug in even when I didn't want to do this.
Yes.
You'll be
Mhm.
thinking like, so, I just got off the plane last week for Houston, and from when I went on the plane in August So it's August, September, October, November, December, January, February. It's 6 months.
Mhm.
I saw I'm down 11 pounds within that time. And it
Mhm.
doesn't 11 pounds doesn't sound like a lot, but man, when you're sitting on the plane, 11 pounds is a lot. And
Mhm.
I didn't feel uncomfortable. I wasn't worried about like my stomach hitting someone else because the seats tend to be small. I didn't feel
Mhm.
uncomfortable with the seat belt. I had a woman that was sitting next to me who started having an anxiety attack on the
Mhm.
plane.
Wow.
And so I was like, I'm perfectly fine and comfortable. So I just started like fanning her. She's fanning herself. I'm like, it's
Oh.
okay. We like walked through like the whole, this is what's happening when you were having anxiety. It's not you, it's the heat on
Mhm.
the plane. So we're just going to cool you down. Right. But I was in a place where I wasn't, what I've said all along too, is like, I want to get outside of my head. And when I am not the healthy version of Erin, I'm all about myself and I hate that. I want to be able to be about other people and see other people. And because I did that work 6 months ago and started and kept with it, I was
Mhm.
able to be present for her and to be able to help her on the plane. And that made me
Mhm.
so happy. So you've got
Awesome.
what, 5 months until July. I'm excited for you
Mhm.
I'm
because
making a commitment that, like, if I can, well, not if, when I
Yes.
hit
When?
my goals, and it's not even a weight goal, it's just a comfort. I just want to, I'm going to make a video. I'm going to call you guys. I'm going to do something on Facebook, and I'm going to do it from the plane, because if I
Yay.
don't, I'm just telling you that girl that you're talking about, Erin, would be me. And I'm hopeful that I'll have an Erin next to me to go, poor little soul, you're freaking out on the plane.
I
You're
thought about you as she was having her thing. I thought about you and how you feel. I'm like, this is Candice, and I'm gonna
Candice
just take
thanks you for helping her. Whoever you are, if you watch Real WW Talk, I just want to let you know I get you. You're not alone.
yes. So for this week, it's a continuation, I feel like, of self-discipline because I
Yes.
don't want to make it sound like we're not being self-disciplined because obviously this was an example of self-discipline and really putting the plan in action. Um, for all three of us, and it does make me excited to hear us, within this zone and thinking, what could it look like in 6 months?
Mhm.
Really, like, maybe just take it even out of the nebulous the rest of, life or years down the road. Like, what do the next 6 months look like? What do the
Mhm.
next 3 months look like? Where do you wanna be in 3 months? Is it 5
Mhm.
pounds down? Is it 10? Like, I don't even necessarily know that a weight goal needs to be a part of it. It's like, who do
Right.
I wanna mentally be in the next 3 months or 6 months? I think those are good questions to ask ourselves.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I agree.
Because I think it's that the WW used to have a term for it, not foreshadowing. It was some really used to give us the little worksheets, but anyway, it was a wonderful technique where you saw yourself in that space of where you want to be in 6 months.
Mhm.
You put what you see and you smell and you taste, like you make it a memory,
Mhm.
and or not a memory, or you make it tangible.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That can help anchor you when you do have to say no to your current
Mhm.
self, or you do need to get up and go for the walk,
Mhm.
you
So
know? Yeah.
3 months from now, we're looking at it being June 7th.
Mhm.
What does that feel like?
I mean, there's gonna be fewer got a taste of the weather with it being hotter. I personally wanna feel comfortable in a t-shirt. I wanna feel comfortable walking and standing all day. Um, that's personally where I wanna be. What about you guys?
I'll be getting ready for my vacation. I go the one that I went on last year and wore the bathing suit. So I wanna
Mhm.
be even more excited to wear those summer clothes, because the winter clothes, I'm one that's sad that the winter weather is going away, only because winter weather means layers and hiding, and summer weather is like bodies and skin everywhere. So I'm looking forward to feeling comfortable in my summer clothes that I have.
Mhm.
Yeah, I will. June 7th, I will have just come back from a conference that's in Florida. So
Wow.
I'm gonna back my calendar up for me because I wanna go to the conference in Florida in humidity, and I wanna feel comfortable in the clothes that I'm wearing. Shorts, I know I'm gonna be wearing shorts, and then I know that I'll be wearing business wear on the inside at the
Mhm.
conference, and I'm gonna be doing a lot of moving, and I wanna be comfortable, and I
Mhm.
wanna be able to look at that when I get there. I would love to be able to reflect back right now on this moment and go, "Man, I'm so proud of myself for maintaining, sticking with the maintenance." And at some point, I'm gonna come out of this maintenance and focus on the weight loss because I know for me to feel comfortable during that time, it's gonna involve some weight loss as well.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, but I wanna be comfortable. I really plane ride down, I wanna be comfortable. All of the movement, I wanna be comfortable and happy.
So
Okay.
we need to make sure we reference this episode. Erin,
That's right.
title it a good one, and
That's right.
let's talk about it and keep it in the forefront of our minds when we're
3
making these
months in the future. Who are you 3 months in the future? There it
Mhm.
is.
Perfect.
Dun, dun, dun.
Because you don't really want to come back in 3 months and be like, well, that was a really great episode we did 3 months ago, and we really thought about it. But where are you going to be in the next 3 months?
Right, right. Listen, this all goes back to what I was saying about being a woman of my word, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't wanna
Mhm.
have these conversations here and then do exactly what you just said, Candice, and then
Mhm.
come back and go, "Yeah, well, I didn't do anything about it. I
Yeah.
forgot." I wanna get out
Mhm.
of that. I wanna get out of that habit.
Yeah.
And all the comments on Facebook and our Facebook group will be like, you remember those goals you all set? Like, yeah. How are you all doing with them? It's 3 months later. Even if we want to forget, they won't
We
forget.
have
Whatever.
people who will keep us accountable. We love you.
Love
We
it.
love you guys.
Speaking of those people, you can join and become one of those people, when you go find us on Facebook. How do you like that? Pivot. Pivot. Come join us in the Real WW Talk Facebook group. You can even lay your goals in there as well. Just search Real WW Talk on Facebook. We're also on Instagram. You can watch us do this live on YouTube as well. Just again, search Real WW Talk. And if you're like, girls, that's great, I can sit and watch you. Or I can put you in my pocket and go get some fit points for a walk, or put you while I'm on my Peloton or Peloton. We have the audio version of this, and you can find that anywhere you listen to your podcast by searching Real WW Talk.
We got you covered no matter your need. Don't worry about
That's
it.
it.
Mhm.
Right. No
Perfect.
excuses for you or for us. Well, have a great week to achieving your goals, doing the hard things so that in 3 months, as you think about what your goal is, you're going to look back on today and go, I'm so proud of me. Yay, me.
Yay.
Bye.